Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let me share my screen actually. Okay, thank you. So I have some students from first semester as well. Uh, Today, are you able to see my screen, guys? Can someone acknowledge that my screen is
Yes,
visible?
sir.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, sir, it is a visit.
Thank you. So today we are going to discuss user management, right? Last week we started from Windows 10 installation, and you can see here this was the machine on which we started the installation. So after installation you will get these two options. One is called customize and the other one is called use express settings. What's the difference between these two? Let me explain it. But before doing that, let me mute you all so that I can focus on my training. Okay, what is the difference between these two options? When we select customize, right, what will happen? We will get an option that which option we need to select for ourselves. And when we select use express setting, automatically all those options will be selected which is recommended by Windows 10, which is recommended by Microsoft. So let me click use express setting for now. You can also change your settings after that as well. So once you select use express settings, right, you will get a message from Windows 10 that is this machine is something you will be using in organization, or is this your personal machine? So we are going to discuss all these things today. You know, we have two types of users in Windows 10. One is called Microsoft account and the other one is called local account, right? What is Microsoft account? Do you guys have any account in Microsoft.com, Hotmail.com, Outlook.com? Do you have any account?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, perfect. So you do have Microsoft account available. That's nice. That's nice. So if you have a Microsoft account, now you have the option to use that account to log into your Windows machine. That is something possible now. And I think it's possible since Windows 8. When Microsoft introduced Windows 8, they gives us an option to use our Microsoft to log into our Windows 8 machine, right? So what is the benefit of that? For example, if you have a Windows 8 machine or Windows 10 machine, right? This is your Windows 10 machine, and let's suppose uh, who is using Microsoft account here? Mr. Tufail is using. So let's suppose Tufail, this is Tufail account, tufail@hotmail.com. So when Tufail log in to Windows 10 machine using this account, what will happen? Tufail will get 15 GB free space on Microsoft OneDrive, right? He can save his data on OneDrive, right? Uh, Built-in app access, right? Settings, will be sync. So for example, if Tufail has two laptops and both are Windows 10, and when Tufail use the same ID for the other machine, all the configurations, all the Microsoft OneDrive data, right? Those configuration or data will be available on the other machine as well. Yep, I'm recording the session, Mr. Yasir. Thank you for reminding me. So that's the benefit of Microsoft account. That when we use Microsoft account, what is the benefit? We will get free 15 GB of space. We can save our data, and if something happens to our laptop, we can still use the same account on other machine and we will get the same data there as well. That's one of the benefit of using Microsoft account. Are you using Google Chrome? Anyone? I believe you
Yes, sir, we
guys.
all are using.
Perfect. You guys
जी
are
सर बिल्कुल यूज कर रहे हैं बिल्कुल from।
okay. Perfect. Let me show you something on Google Chrome. Mm, this is Google Chrome. Do you see any option here like login option?
Yes, sir.
There we have a login option, right? What is the benefit of login to Google Chrome? All of your bookmarks, all of your history, passwords, everything will be stored in your Gmail account. And if something happens to your machine, you can use the same ID on another Google Chrome and you will see all the configuration and bookmarks over there as well. So that's one of the benefit of logging into Google Chrome, right? That's also one of the example of cloud. You guys would be familiar of Microsoft account. You guys would be familiar of iCloud ID, Gmail ID, right? Like some people use some most of you have Android mobile phone and you have logged in there as well using Samsung account or Google account, right? What is the benefit of using those accounts on your mobile phone and iPhone? Can someone tell me?
So they can be sync data. The
Exactly.
data can be sync anywhere we log into devices.
Exactly, and we can get the same data from any device on which we use the same account, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but what is the disadvantages of using Microsoft account? For example, let me just explain it. We are showing those two options. One option is my work or school owns. Who owns this machine? If you guys remember, we started installation on this machine last week. We are getting two options. One option is my who owns this machine. So option one, my work or school owns it, and the second option is I own it. But the training we started, it's not for ourselves. Actually, we are learning a bit of system administration here as well. For example, this machine will be used in your organization. This machine will be used in your university, in your school, in your college, right? So if you are using this machine, if you will be using this machine in industry or in production environment and you select Microsoft account, what could be the limitation or drawbacks of that? Can someone tell me?
So repeat the question.
My question is, for example, you have you are working in an organization like suppose you are working in university and you have a laptop or you are going to prepare a machine over there, right? And you log in using Microsoft account, personal Microsoft account. In production environment, when we use Microsoft account on company's machine, what is the disadvantages, right? Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
So basically, firewall is used, and then the next thing is that if we use our personal account, then it may cause some privacy concerns, disadvantage.
Okay, anyone
They
else?
can, the administrator can access it.
Sir,
Anyone?
we give our information to Microsoft. I think that will be the drawback.
So if you have a machine in your an organization and they are connected to your organization network and you have used your personal account on one of the machine, that's something not a good practice, because you are giving access to your Microsoft account directly. So let's suppose you have a critical data, right, on your desktop, or you have a critical data somewhere stored on your company's machine, and you have logged in using your personal Microsoft account, and someone else has also the same credentials, they also know your password, right? So they can get your data easily, which is why Microsoft account is not recommended in production environment. What is production environment? University is example of production environment. Hospitals are examples of production environments, right? Which is why in organization we do not use Microsoft account. So we always prefer this option. So if you are preparing a machine for your company, for your office, and if you are installing Windows 10, do not select this option. But if this is your personal machine, then it's fine. You can use the second option as well, right? Because you will get a free 15 GB of OneDrive space, and all of your settings will be synchronized in Microsoft Cloud. So that's something that's a good option actually, right? So I hope you got my point, right? And one more thing, guys. Uh, After 10 minutes, we are going to disconnect automatically. So feel free to join me again using the same ID. Okay, okay. We use Google or MS account. Yeah, got it. Okay. Let's see. We can discuss the questions later. And let me select this one. And I just click next. Now, now we have two options here. One option is join Azure Active Directory, and the second option is join a local Active Directory. This is something too early for you. Maybe some of you are not familiar with Active Directory. Maybe some of you are not familiar with Azure Active Directory. So let me just give you a quick overview of these things, and we would see if we can explain these things in upcoming sessions maybe, but it's something not related to your topics today, but still let me explain it. Many of the organization, right, uh, they have Microsoft Office 365 setup available over there, right? They have a Microsoft Azure subscription. What is Azure? This is basically a Microsoft cloud services, right? Maybe you guys heard about Amazon Web Services, AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure Cloud. So if you have Office 365 account, which will be set up from your organization, you can simply use that account. So let's suppose you are working in ABC organization, right? So maybe they give you an access, they have created an account for you, like for example Amin at the rate abc.com. This is your Microsoft account, or this is your company's account, and they have integration with Office 365, right? So you can also use this account. your machine will be connected to your Azure Active Directory. Okay, is my voice clear to everyone? Abdurrahman is saying that I'm not audible to him. Abdurrahman, please connect.
Your voice is clear, sir.
Okay, good. Please connect your audio. Okay, right. So let's say we do not have Azure Active Directory available, then the only option you have Active Directory. What is Active Directory? Active Directory is authentication service, right? I think I lost my connection. Okay, that's interesting. Yasser is saying that when we install Windows as a normal practice other than virtualization, we do not see such options. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to call my students. I think they are also accessing my server. So let me stop them. Okay. So I have an interesting question from Mr. Yasir that we do not see such option. Let me stop the. Okay. Yasser is saying that we do not see these options here. So is this the same with you guys as well? Is this something happens to you also during installation? Do you see these options, guys? Who have installed Windows 10 so far? Can someone raise your hand? I need to know. So let me give you the answer, Yasser. Basically, when you are installing Windows 10 on a machine and that machine is connected to internet, right? So if your machine is connected to internet during installation, you will see these options, right? So I hope it answers your question. So let's forget about Active Directory now because this is something a high level thing for you people. So let me skip that step and let me click next. And now I'm getting this option. Okay, let me explain something. In local account, we have two types of account further. One is called built-in user accounts. The second option is non-built-in user accounts. Right? By default, they are okay. How many built-in user account we have? One is called administrator and the other one is called guest. And by default, both are disabled, right? So if someone asks you what is built-in user accounts, those accounts which are already created, right? So we have two types of account. One is called administrator account, the other one is called guest. What is the difference between these two accounts, right?
So the administrator will access all the things, all the services, everything.
Mhm. And how about guest
And the
account?
other one is guest who can use. The other one can only use the main service he wants to access, but not the background.
Okay, so for example, you have a Windows 10 machine, right? And uh, who was that? The one who was speaking? Okay, okay, guys, let's wait 1 minute. It's Azan time, so let's connect after 1 minute. So, welcome back, everyone. We were talking about administrator and guest account. So, what is administrator account used for? It is basically used for administration. What is administration of your machine? You can changing the system name, changing the system IP address, changing the system time, installing new applications, uninstalling existing applications, right? Creating other user accounts, deleting other user accounts, reset the password of other user, right? uh, Changing the hard disk partitions, right? So these activities are called administration, and only administrator account has permission to perform such operations. What is guest account, and what is the benefit of using guest account? For example, you have this machine Windows 10, and you have one administrator account, right? And you are working on this machine using administrator account. So if you have a friend, if you have a guest, and they are asking you to give you your machine for some time, so if you allow them to use your machine using administrator account, your machine is at risk. They can change your settings, they can delete some of your application, they can even open all the files. For example, on your desktop you have some personal files and you do not want them to open those files. So you can simply enable guest account for them. So what's gonna happen? They will not they can only log into guest account, they will not have full permission, right? They cannot change your system time. You can also hide your D drive data from them, you can also hide your E drive data from them, right? And you can restrict them to open your data or to check your data. They can perform their task actually, right? Exactly. Guest account has less privileges as compared to admin account, definitely. But by default, both guest account and administrator account, they are disabled for some of the reasons. What could be the reason? One of the reason is security, right? So what type of security, I will explain it, but let me move forward. What is this account actually? Because administrator is disabled, which is why we need to give a username here, right? uh, Someone tell me your name. Anyone?
Tahir Amin.
Tahir Amin. Okay, so let's suppose Tahir. So I just write Tahir. What happened actually? A user account will be created with the name of Tahir, right? And that user is called first user. What is Cortana? We will discuss it. So what I did actually, during installation, I just create a user account, Tahir, and we call it first user, right? What is first user? We create first user during installation of Windows 10. And why Windows 10 asking us to give to create a user account or to give them a to give a name for user, right? The reason is because built-in administrator and built-in guest account is disabled. And since built-in administrator is disabled, we need an account which can perform some administrative task, which is why Tahir first user will be by default member of administrators group. Do you know groups? Anyone? Do you have any idea regarding Windows groups? We have multiple types of groups here. For example, in your university you have two groups. One is called teachers group and other is called students group. So if I add you in the teachers group, you will get access to all the resources which are allowed for teachers, right? But if you are a member of students group, then you will have some limitations. You cannot sit in every class. You have a specific time, right? You cannot go to university all the time. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Tahir is now the first user. Okay, I believe you are familiar with your university's computers, right? They have two types of account. One is called administrator and other is called student. Have you seen that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, let me explain that as well. In production environment, what we do basically, we enable built-in administrator. Once we log in on first user, the first step we perform, we log in on Tahir user, and after logging in, we just enable administrator account. And why is that? Because in organization we use administrator account, built-in administrator account for administration. So maybe a question arise in your mind that why is that? What is the difference between built-in administrator and Tahir, which is also a member of administrators group? So just keep in mind that even though Tahir is a member of administrators group, but there are some options, but there are some operations which are limited to Tahir. Do you remember last week we studied how to make a bootable USB?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me
Yes.
open CMD account here and let me write something here. For example, Tahir slash add. See, I'm getting this error. Access is denied. I logged in as a first user, like you can see here. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me install VMware tools. What is VMware tool? We will discuss it. Right? VMware tools are like drivers of your virtual machines. So let's keep this topic on for another session. So the things which I'm doing right now, just ignore these things. Right? I'm just going to install VMware tools. These are drivers actually. Just like you install Windows on your physical machine, after installation you install your drivers, sound card drivers, graphic cards, mousepad, right? So VMware tools are also drivers for your virtual machines. You can see here my mouse performance is not good, but once the VMware tools are installed, the mouse performance and everything will be normal. Okay, in the meantime, if you have any question, so feel free to ask me question. I hope this is something you are understanding. This topic is very simple. User management. We talked about the different types of users. So we have Microsoft account and the other one is local account. And then we started using local account. In local account we have built-in user accounts and also we have non-built-in user accounts. In non-built-in account we started from first user. What is first user during installation? When we create a user, that user is called first user, right? And that user is a member of administrators group, right? But in organization we enable built-in administrator for ourselves. So I'm going to teach you how to enable built-in administrator account, right? So to enable built-in administrator account, you can simply right click on your computer and you can go to manage, and from there okay, let me restart the machine actually so that we have a good options available. Why you are silent, guys? Please speak up. G Mr. Abdurrahman, you have a question? So the virtual machine new install window is not accessible to the drivers of our main environment. Basically, uh, most of the drivers those are already accessible to the virtual machine, but for some of the drivers or hardwares you need to install VMware tools, right? Just like in your physical machine, when you install operating system, some of the drivers are already installed there, but for some of the drivers, hardware drivers, you need to install your drivers, right? For some of the devices, like most of the machines, the mouse pad will not be installed there, so you need to install the mouse, the touchpad drivers there, right? So same is the case here. VMware tools are very important, especially if you are working on VMware Workstation or if you are working on VMware ESXi, right? So you need to install VMware tools on every virtual machine. And for those, if you are this is your first time joining this session, I have some videos uploaded on my YouTube channel regarding how to create virtual machine. We will also explain all these things here in this training as well, right? Maybe tomorrow I switch to VMware Workstation again so that I can guide you how to prepare your own lab. So the whole week you can practice on that. Yes, Mr. Abdurrahman, if you have the
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर, मैं ये क्वेश्चन है कि माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का अकाउंट और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन अकाउंट, जो माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का अकाउंट है ये तो हम पर्सनल भी यूज़ कर सकते हैं, और फिर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का जो अकाउंट है फिर इन दोनों में सर डिफरेंट क्या है सर, ये क्वेश्चन है।
okay. Uh, we have two types of user actually. One user that is personal user like myself, yourself. We are using our machine in our homes, right, for our personal use. And other users are enterprise users like in production they are using Windows 10. So if you are working in organization and if you are using a machine in a company or in university or in hospital, in that situation we do not use Microsoft account, our personal Microsoft account. We do not use such accounts, right? You will be using standard user accounts if you have a non-domain environment. If you have Active Directory installed on your network, then in that case you will be using domain account. What is domain account? We will also explain that, right?
यस सर, यस सर। और सर फिर आपने कहा कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन अकाउंट है, यहाँ पे तो सर फुल परमिशन भी दे सकते हैं। फिर आपने कहा कि मैं कि मिसाल पे लैब में काम करता हूँ और फिर वहाँ पे मुझे अलाउड नहीं है, कोई चीज़ मैं डाउनलोड भी नहीं कर सकता। इन इन दोनों में फिर मैक्सिमम डिफरेंट क्या हो सकता है सर?
Okay, basically, what we are learning here, why we are studying user management topic. Let me explain this first. Data security is very important, right? For example, this machine, the one I'm using right now, this Windows 10 machine, uh, this machine will be used by multiple users. What's your name actually? What's your name? Abdurrahman is your name?
अब्दुल सर।
Okay, for example, Abdurrahman will be using this Windows 10 machine. Tahir will be using this machine. Can someone else tell me your name?
Ubaid Khan.
Ubaid Khan. So we have three users,
Ubaid.
right? So we have Ubaid Khan. Ubaid Khan is OBAD.
Hey sir, HUBAIB. Ubaid Khan.
Ubaid Khan.
H-
Okay.
yes sir.
So we have three users here, and these three users will be using this machine in organization. For example, in hospital, you can see we have morning shift, we have evening shift, and night shift. So Abdurrahman, Tahir, and Hubaid Khan, they will be using this Windows 10 machine, right? So if anyone has administrative permission, then there is no security of this machine. For example, Abdurrahman is a member of administrators group, so then Abdurrahman can change the system time. Let me mute you all actually. Okay. So what is the scenario in production environment? In production environment, we enable administrator account built-in administrator account. So if as an administrator, this is our responsibility to change the system time, to change the settings, right? Or to create users accounts and all these stuff. But if your question is what is the difference between first user, if this is your question, that what is the difference between first user versus built-in administrator account, can someone tell me that? What is the difference between first user and built-in administrator account? As we can see here, we have this account, Mr. Tahir, we have created this account, Tahir. This is a first user. First user is a member of administrators group. You can also check that. When you right click on your computer, when you go to manage, and when you go to local user and groups, my machine is running slow today, I don't know why. Okay,
Sir, after this, I have a question.
yeah, you can ask your question now, it's okay.
Okay, sir, can we enable built-in administration account without accessing to some administration rights?
Okay, let me answer that. Let me show you the configuration of Tahir first, and then I'm coming to your point. As we can see here, Tahir is a member of administrators group, which is why Tahir can enable administrator account. So if you are logged in using standard account and you are trying to enable administrator account, this is not possible. So I think it also answer your question. So if you have administrative permission, you can come here and you can change the settings here. If your account is not a member of administrators group, then you cannot enable built-in administrator account. You cannot create another user account. You cannot change the password of another user account. So I think it answer your question as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can see here Tahir is a member of administrators group. You can see, right? But we still need to enable administrator account if you are in a production environment. If this is your personal machine, that's fine. You do not need to enable built-in administrator account. But if this machine is something you will be using in university, hospital, bank, any other company, then in that case we need to enable administrator account because we have hired for administration. Your job role will be system administrator. Your job role will be IT support engineer. Your job role will be desktop support specialist, technical support specialist, right? If you have knowledge of Windows, you can get such type of jobs in multiple organization. Desktop support, IT support, right? If you know about the basic things of Windows. Okay, okay, G. So we are going to enable administrator account. What is the purpose of enabling administrator account? So let me show you the difference of Tahir. Even though Tahir is a member of administrator group, but still when we try to write disk part, we get this option. Do you see this option sometime in your when you are working on your machine? Every time when you try to change of some of the settings of your laptop,
Yes, sir.
you get such type of
Yes, sir.
messages. What is this message? Basically it's a permission. So Tahir is always will always ask for the built-in administrator. That's fine, we can ask our built-in administrator and then you can perform the operation. But in an organization, these are some of the tasks which can only be possible if you are logging in using if you logged in using built-in administrator account. So it's best to enable administrator account. So how to enable administrator account? You can go to local user and groups, right click on your computer, go to manage, just right click on your administrator account, click properties and uncheck this button, account is disabled and your administrator account is enabled. Now you can see there is no down arrow here. If you want to set a password, make sure your administrator account has a password. For example, 123. 123 is not a correct password. I mean, not a good password. Your password should be strong password and lengthy password, right? If you want to change the password or you want to remove the password, you can leave it as it is, leave it blank. You can disable administrator account again and you are good to go. So what we have learned so far, we enabled administrator account and we disable administrator account. You can also write a command lusrmgr.msc. When you type that command, automatically you will be open this window and you can enable administrator account from there as well, right? So let me write that command actually, lusrmgr.msc. This is another method. You can also enable administrator account using CMD. But make sure when you open CMD, right click on CMD and click run as administrator. The reason why we are using run as administrator option, because we are logged in using first user. So first user has limited permission on CMD. Some of the CMD commands are not possible when you are logged in using first user. That's also one of the difference between first user and built-in administrator account. And that's the reason in your university, in every machine, they have enabled built-in administrator. In organization, they have enabled built-in administrator for administration, right? So let me just show you something, and then we are going to end this session because it's almost Asr time and I have also a plan of traveling today, so I would need to be getting ready. So let me write something. Net user. What is net user used for? That is a command which will show you how many user you have in your machine. So when you type net user, it will show you how many user you have. So how many user we have? Administrator, guest, Tahir, right? So we are going to enable administrator account. So if you want to enable administrator account, you can simply write net user and type the username, and that is the command. Any question here, guys?
No, sir.
Net user is the command which will show you how many user you have. Net user administrator / active ; yes. What
सर
is
सर अगर एक्टिव के में नो लिखे तो अकाउंट डिसेबल हो जाएगा.
exactly, I was about to explaining the same thing. Active ; no. What happened now? The administrator account is disabled again. Let me enable it again. What is this command used for? Can someone explain?
login is administrator and logout is administrator.
Mhm. Net user.
सर इससे पासवर्ड भी लगेगा और जो अकाउंट है वो इनेबल भी हो जाएगा.
No, this command is only used to set a password. The first command is to enable administrator account. The second command is to set a password. If you want to change the password, you can simply write ABC and the previous password is changed, replaced. Net user, administrator, hysteric. So this command is also used to change the password. If you want to change the password, you can simply type the new password, or you can ignore the new password and you can leave it blank and the password is removed. Net user, administrator, active ; no, administrator account is disabled. You can also use a single command to set a password and also enable administrator account. And we have finally set a password of ABC and / active yes, and we are done. So using this single command, you can set a password on administrator account and you can also enable administrator account. And now let me show you. Let me sign out from this account from Tahir, and let me ask you something. How many user account we have now? We have two accounts here, Tahir and administrator. Tahir is first user and Tahir is also a member of administrators group, and administrator is the built-in administrator account. So if I ask you, is this machine is secure or not?
Not secure, sir.
Okay, the reason it is not secure because uh, if I log in on Tahir account, I can change administrator password, I can change the system time, I can do whatever I want to this machine, right? And we are good. So how to secure this machine? Give me only 5 minutes, I'm going to finish the session. How to secure this machine? Can someone answer me? We can set
Sir,
up.
by disabling some app accesses from Tahir.
Yes, we can remove Tahir from administrators group and we can add Tahir to users group. That's one of the method to secure our machine. What is the second method? We can delete Tahir account. What is the third method? We can set a password on Tahir account. So let me log in to my administrator account. Okay, one more thing you should keep in mind, that whenever we are logging in on a user for the first time, it will take some time. The reason is, for every user, a user profile is created on your C drive, right? So if you are logging in for the first time on a specific user, it will take some time. The reason is, for every user a separate profile is created under users folder in C drive. That is the reason, right? So we just log in using administrator account, and now I am going to delete Tahir account, and then I will ask you the same question again. So let's start. Let me go to local user and groups, lusr mgr dot msc, and I can see Tahir. One method is, you can simply remove Tahir from administrators group and you can add Tahir to users group. That is one method. Another method, you can set a password, you can delete Tahir account, and now you can see we have only one account on our machine, and that is administrator account. Okay, one make sure you do not need to practice this on your personal machine. Create virtual machine and start practicing on your virtual machines. Okay, again the same question, is this machine secure or not?
It's
Hmm?
So
yes,
if
sir.
this is a
Now it's
machine of organization, then it is not secure because administrator account से होता है access कर सकता है.
Okay, so let's suppose, okay, administrator can do anything to, okay, so not safe. Okay, yes, you are right. For example, this machine will be used by Abdurrahman, Tahir and Hubaid Khan, and the only administrator account is enabled there and the only administrator account is available there, then this machine is not secure. We need to create standard user accounts. So our next topic will be how to create standard user accounts, right? We are going to learn that in our upcoming session. So I think we can stop here for today and we can connect tomorrow. Tomorrow maybe I discuss the VMware workstation stuff, But again, if you have any if you want to do practice, you can simply go to my YouTube channel, and I would recommend only watch one video that is only 20 minutes or 22 minutes video. You can visit my YouTube channel there, and I have only one video for you. You need to watch only one video. That is which one? That is in playlist. You can watch this video, VMware Workstation 15.5, right? Sorry guys for the audio. So that is the video, right? What is this? Okay,
Bismillahirrahman.
so I think it's only 25 minutes video. You can just watch this video and you will be good to go, right? You can install VMware Workstation. You can download it. Last week I already showed you how to download it, how to install it, and this video will help you how to create the virtual machine, create a virtual machine, install Windows 10, and at least
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर
cover all the labs. Yes, please. Walaikum assalam. Walaikum assalam.
ये आपको चैट में मैंने ना पिक्चर भी सेंड किया तो इसमें मुझे थोड़ी ना कंफ्यूजन है कि मेरा अकाउंट कौन सा है जो यासिर जो है ये मेरा अकाउंट है या जो WDAG यूटिलिटी है ये मेरा अकाउंट है
Okay,
आप
Yasser
इसकी
is
ज़रा मैंने
okay.
डिटेल
Yasser
दीजिए
is your account actually. This is your account. Yes, Yasser is your account, right?
सर जी बाकी जो हैं ये डिलीट वगैरह कर सकते हैं अगर कोई
No,
पहले भी था एक जो
some of the account there are, if these are built-in accounts, you cannot delete those accounts. In Windows 7 it used to be only administrator account and guest account, but in Windows 10 we also show default account, WDAG utility account. You can search for that. You can see the difference between these are used for something, for different purposes, right? And even you can see the description of each account here. Do not enable built-in administrator account on your personal machine, because when you are logged in using administrator account, you do not have uh, some of the options available, like you cannot open some of the applications, right? So we only use administrator account, built-in administrator account, if you are using, if you are working in organization, or if you are doing administration on one of the machine. Okay, for your safety, what you can do, you can enable built-in administrator account and you can create another account for yourself, right? And you can work on your other account for the safety of your machine, and I will guide you during the upcoming lectures, inshallah. So I'm going to pause the lecture, I'm going to pause the video, and I'm here for 4 minutes.